Welcome to another edition of Peek Behind the Curtain, the first episode of 2021. I don't know. I thought it'd be more different, but I thought it'd at least smell different or something.
2021 is just 2020 extended past like a couple days.
I'm willing to give it a grace period. I've always said
Yep.
2020 didn't get bad till March. I'm willing to give it a grace period till then.
Most jobs give you 90 days, so I'm just gonna.
Three months is good with me.
Perfect.
Joining me today once again here is Mary Jean Porter. Today we're gonna go not necessarily a specific production, but just go more in depth on what it takes to create a drama club production. So thank you so much for coming here on the show again. Let's not hesitate. Let's go into what does it mean to be doing a student-run production here at SMSU.
Well, really, the first thing that happens is we have an end-of-the-year banquet, and that's when we choose our shows for the next coming seasons. And before that, there's a period where we give people in the drama club who have taken the directing class or plan to on that year, we give them kind of like a sheet, show them an example of what kind of trying to think of the word, like when you offer up a show, you got to think about how much it's going to cost for music, how much you plan on spending for costumes, if you need to buy big fancy sets, how much that's going to be. So really, and it just kind of depends how everyone's kind of feeling that year. So sometimes for the last couple of years, we've been doing musicals like crazy. But just with the new students that we've been getting in, it feels like we're going to probably start going down the avenue of more straight plays, because that's just kind of the ability level that they have, and that's the confidence that I... It's really hard to get people to audition for musicals. They're scary. I know, musicals are scary. They're singing and dancing, but it's not... Most of the time, it's not you doing it. You just... But, yeah, it's, so student run means student everything. The students pick the show. The drama club is run by the students, and it has an all-student board, except for our lovely Nadine, who helps guide us all along. And she helps us do all of the hard work, like filling out the paperwork and actually purchasing the rights and everything. But we do have like a drama club president, a drama club historian, and a drama club secretary. So we do have ways to monitor our like SAFAC allocation. So that way, because that's something that's very important. When this is kind of jumping around, but like if we don't have, so this happened one year where we had a SAFAC allocation and we blew through it really quickly, and sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing, because they see that and they're like, oh well, that's not really a, but we've been really good about spending and about saving our allocation, because we're aware that once you spend it, you might not get that same amount.
Yep.
Yeah, so once we make sure that we have enough in the budget, we usually well, after we put together a budget and everything, and after we select the shows, we, as a drama club, we vote. So typically the seniors don't vote because they're not going to be in the shows. And then we allow everyone else to have one vote, and we pick the one that has the majority. And then typically the one that was picked second goes in the spring semester. But this was such a unique case that we had COVID, and then we weren't able to do a drama club production last semester. So now we're fitting 2 in this semester, which isn't really a terrible thing. We've definitely, we've done black box shows like for two times in the same semester, but it's just a little different now because, so for Firebringer, I was able to seat about 70 people in on the fullest night. And now in the black box, the max number we can have is 12. And for the 2 drama club shows that are coming up, that the cast wouldn't fit in the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this year is a little different because we the drama club is able to use the main stage, and the main stage is usually only for the main stage productions, and that's kind of a big deal.
Gives you a little bit more free reign.
Yeah,
a little bit more access to
more space, more everything. I think it fits really well with Brady's show Clue because it's large and the Clue's a game board, like it looks more like a game board than it would in the black box since everything is so open, and there's you have the ability to close off some parts of the stage from the audience, which is really cool about the main stage.
Well, actually, I want to jump back. So you kind of talked about picking the shows and everything. Mm-hmm. What are some of the criteria that either you use or the club uses to pick, this is the show we're going to show here, this is one we think is worthy for our audience to see and that we think we could perform to the best?
So really that's kind of up to the discretion of the actor. So for Firebringer, I selected that show because that particular year we had a disproportionate amount of men compared to women, and that show was a very large female cast. And I picked Firebringer because I wanted to do it. And so Brady picked Clue because he wanted to do it. And I picked The Wind in the Willows because I wanted to do it. And but it's the drama club that has the say. So if a majority of people are just like, I don't want to vote for either shows, it's back to the drawing board. But typically it's more competitive. So for a few years we had like three or four people offer up shows, and then only 2 would get picked. And now, since it's just me and Brady offering the shows this year, it's just us. Which
how many shows do you guys pitch? Do you have like the one you want, or do you have like one and a backup and then a backup to the backup? Or
so we should have a backup to the backup. There was one year where
you can never have too many backups.
Yeah, there was one year where we pitched Rent the musical. We got we had the rights at one point, and then we had the cast list. We were ready to go into rehearsals, and then there was an ABC special live production of Rent. They took the rights away, and then the night before they were gonna put the recording out, the lead broke his leg. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, so much heartbreak for just that, but that's a different story. But yes, there are some times where you need to have backups for your backups in case they pull their rights right away like that. So in that situation, we did Guys and Dolls, which was really fun. It was a large musical to do in the black box, but it was really, really fun to put on and to pull off. But yeah, should start doing that.
So when you talk about rights, I want to talk about the rights of it just so people kind of understand. What are you referring to when you say the rights? Like specifically, what do they allow you to do with them?
So the rights allow us to perform the show, essentially. If I tried performing Hamilton without the rights, that would essentially be plagiarism. It would be stealing, piracy, because you're not paying the company to allow you the product. And that's a lot for for musicals. It's typically more expensive because they'd have to pay someone who arranged the score and then pay someone who made the scorebook and everything. Some rights are very important, like for Hairspray, you can't do the production and have one of the traditionally black characters played by a white person. That's one of the things. The rights usually tell you you can't change a character's race, you can't change their gender, their name, or change anything up in the song unless there's something written in the script by the scriptwriter that says insert here,
Okay. And so do you find it, I know some of the production you guys do, and some of them are in what's called the public domain. Mm-hmm. Are those ones easier to get a hold of than I would assume, or like what's kind of what are some of the less hurdles I guess you would have to worry or not have to worry about with those productions?
So the thing that's really cool about pieces that are in the public domain, let's take Alice in Wonderland. Everyone knows the story of Alice in Wonderland, but if I were a playwright, I could take Alice in Wonderland, the characters, the setting, and I can add my own twist to it, and it's still considered original. However, because the Disney company is the way they are, can't do that with Mickey Mouse. And can't do that, but Sleeping Beauty, I want to say, is in the public domain. A few more books just got into the public domain, which is really exciting. But a lot of your older, more classic Shakespeare, your Greek plays, I think the cutoff...
I'm pretty sure Peter Pan is in the public domain.
Yeah,
I know you guys did Peter and the Starcatcher last semester, which I think was one of the reasons why we were able to record it as well. It was a little bit easier to get those okayed as well. So. And it is time for the intermission here, where we've been talking a lot about the student-run productions here on SMSU. One of the ones that is coming up here that the Drama Club is coming up with is Clue the Musical. Mary, do you mind telling us about Clue the Musical, what to kind of expect from this one, a little summary for it, just in case anyone out there has missed hearing about this one?
If you have ever played the board game Clue, or as it's known in Britain, Cluedo, then you are right on track for understanding the show.
Is it really called Cluedo in Britain?
It's crazy. I don't understand why.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's a fun fact that's kind of dumb. Cluedo.
Clue the Musical, like you said, it's based on the board game, which I've said on the show before, I'm not very good at. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever won a single game of Clue. Kind of deterred me from being a police detective, but I'm pretty sure SMSU has a criminal justice program here on campus. I feel like it should be required for all of them to come because, and this is something I learned a couple months ago, it is actually like you get to try to solve the mystery with what's going on. Like it's a different show. It randomly picks every time. So the audience actually gets the chance to try to solve it as well. So you actually don't know the ending until the end.
There are thousands of different character, weapon, and room combinations, and we have to keep all our lines memorized in case we don't know what's going to happen until someone presents us with the evidence that we did. Yeah. It's really fun. Really.
So yeah, if I'm required to go to any historical movie here on campus because I'm taking a history class, anyone in the criminal justice program should be required to go see this. As well as, I'm putting this out there, any Marshall PD police officers, they should also be required. And if they can't solve it by the end of the show,
maybe they should reevaluate their career.
They're off the force. And as far as I'm concerned. Some of the dates here looking up for that show is January 28th is when it's premiering. That's an evening performance and will go till the 31st. That Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all evening performances. Sunday will be a 2 p.m. matinee. And you also mentioned you guys have been doing your shows on the main stage now instead of a black box due to COVID, so it's a little bit more spaced out. But that also means limited seating, so you want to make sure you get there early so you get yourself a spot. And that's one I'm super looking forward to. Not good at the game, but I loved the movie, so I think this will be pretty much the same sort of feel, the different endings and all that. I'm kind of looking forward to see if anyone doesn't know that, and then they like argue with their friends, like, "Man, could you believe it was going to be plum in the theater?" And they're like, "What are you talking about? It was mustard. What show did you watch?" And
there are so many different combinations, and the twist ending, you don't see it coming. When I first read the script,
the actors won't even see it coming. Essentially, that's how unpredictable it is. Eat your heart out, M. Night Shyamalan. You may have come up with twist endings, but not like this before.
M. Night Shyamalan, more like M. Night Shyamalame. Oh.
But yeah, I'm super looking forward to that one.
Me too. Very fun.
You also talked about the financial aspect, and I know that's something you're heavily involved in and something you've been kind of interested in. Tell us what's that like, especially to someone like me, who I am financially inept. All of that stuff just goes way over my head. The only reason I'm where I'm at in video production now is because I don't have a budget to do a lot of the stuff I do. It's a lot of just, we need this. We could splurge $5 for that. Yeah, that's fine.
It's the nature of theater is being very cheap. I would say reusing a lot of stuff. We have, in fact, for Firebringer, we saved a couple $100 because we just didn't buy shoes. So that's
Did the original script have them wear shoes, or was that
so
just...
they were kind of like Keds, like the flat shoes, but we were gonna buy kind of like Japanese toe socks, you know, where they had no, they were literally foot shoes, like shoes that looked like shoes that look like feet.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you know, like you have those running shoes that have all the toes.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to do that, but then we realized
why
it would kind of look stupid.
We all have feet.
Yeah. And we were just like, well, that's a lot of money, and when are we going to need like 12 pairs of these stupid shoes again?
I mean, how many Cavemen productions are you guys planning, I suppose? If you had a few more down the line, maybe.
It's like, how many times are we going to make them barefooted on stage? Which is... So that's one thing. Really the cost comes mostly from what I've seen. The cost comes a lot from renting the music, so another example, in Avenue Q a couple years ago, they have actual professional Broadway style puppets that they could use for the show, but to rent a single puppet, it would have been all of our budget as the drama club, and our budget is typically around $1,000.
Just for context, how many puppets were in that? Do you remember?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7.
So that's
easily.
That's 6 or 7 years of your guys' budget just to get for that one production. Basically.
For that 1.5 hour show.
It must be nice to have money where you can do that.
Oh my God.
When are we going to get to that point in our lives?
When will people start paying us more? And that's
so like $7,000 just for those puppets, just for that one play.
And
so then what'd you guys do instead?
We made them.
You just made them from scratch then.
Yep. So we do a lot of cheap ways to get around. So say if we needed a 30-pound bowling ball on set, it would probably just be foam. And it's so heavy. Yeah. Lots of cheap ways. Mixing paints to save money to make the kind of right color.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. These sound like life hacks, but a lot of them just kind of seem like some nice common sense.
Yeah.
Because like I know you mentioned the foam bowling ball. The thing that instantly came to my head is in Indiana Jones, the first one. There's a point where he's pushing this huge rock to get out. But if you watch, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone that watch Indiana Jones. If you watch the shadow as it falls out of screen, it bounces. So if you look in the shadow on the bottom, you can actually see this heavy boulder bounce like twice. And so I love those little hacks that make things that really kind of put it together. Any other life hacks you can share, or is those trade secrets?
Dark blue looks like black under the right lighting, so you can save a lot of money on fabric by doing that.
Is it different? Does it cost more for different colors of fabric, or?
Typically like different styles of fabric. So silk, velvet, pretty expensive, but if you get muslin and you try dyeing it like the same color as you would on a different piece of fabric, there's so many trade secrets. You can dye clothing pretty easily with just coffee and tea, and that's sometimes how we just make like maps. Just dunk a piece of paper and then it's aged. Just crinkle it up, put it in the oven, and creases on the paper.
Yeah. So you're starting to get the word out there. So now you've figured it out what you're gonna do. You think you got the financial stuff kind of going. Got the auditions. You now know what you're working with. So let's go into. You're essentially baking this many-layered cake now. Let's kind of go through what are some of the most important layers to you. Like, I know set design and costume design can be a big thing. At what point, obviously you probably start thinking about that right away from the get-go, but at what point do you start really introducing or start seeing that visually during the rehearsal process?
A lot of times you don't see it all put together until the last couple of days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, for
talk about holding on to faith that this is all gonna come together.
oh yeah,
here. Yeah.
it's oh my god, it's all faith. It's a miracle that we can get anything put together. Especially considering like last semester's just been really tough, especially for the drama club. Poor Taylor Benson, she is our first year costumer. She's costuming both my show and Brady's show because we just kind of made her. That's the thing about drama club. A lot of the things that get done is when people volunteer people to do them. So Brady told me to do set for him, and now I'm gonna tell Brady that he's gonna be the lead in my show. Even there's just so much that goes into it. I think the most, yeah, it all comes together in the end, but that's really pretty much when it does come together. The last final tech rehearsal is really important. That's when we start seeing lights, and that's when we start hearing more of the cues, working on the mixing with the sounds and making sure everything's kosher. But before that, we, I'd say the most important thing to really get the actors like enthusiastic about the show is characterization. And like I can only do so much to make my actors happy, because in the end I'm telling them what they're gonna do. I'm telling them their place, and sometimes that's like you get your hopes up for a character and then it's like, oh, and then it kind of ruins your whole show experience when you're not the character. But it's creating the excitement for the personal story that the actor's character does tell that I really enjoy, and that's what I try to instill first and foremost, just because when you have that good foundation for your actors, then it's easier for them to take risks on stage and do some more playful, fun stuff. But yeah, pretty much it goes, it would be that characterization. Then the next would be, bless Aviana. She is the choreographer, the go-to choreographer for all of the drama club shows. And she has such a sweet style of dancing. Like, how she comes up with her stuff is she just feels it, and then she does it, and then she's like, all right, this is how we do it. And it's super, super fun to see. So blocking.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't dance at all. So whenever I see a musical or anything, and I was like, how do you even decide which way your arm is gonna move in that? Like, how'd you come up with that specifically? Like, that's always fascinating to me too. But I want to go back to something. I want to talk a little bit about lights, because you kind of mentioned how a lot of this stuff doesn't come together until like tech rehearsal, or a lot of times the actors don't really see how this is all going to look until tech rehearsal. So how do you prepare like lights and set design without really having the actors there, or just kind of talk me through that? How does all that work?
So for some shows that you can pick, you obviously you can find references of what the set looked like before the original set designer.
If it's like Romeo and Juliet, you can find many references.
But for The Wind in the Willows, the production that I chose came out in the 80s, and there's no staged images, there's no production videos, there's no original cast photos except for the one that's on the script, the front page of it. So a lot of it has to come from within, and I have to rely a lot on what I have seen and what I like and what I think would work for the show. So that goes along with blocking too, because you can 3 people in a line and a line kind of to there and there, but you got to create situations that are theatrical and realistic, so that way you can buy into that process more.
So is it a lot of, you kind of set the lights the way you think it's going to be, and then tech rehearsal you kind of see where it actually is, and then you just kind of line it up a little bit closer, or is it
so
kind of tightening the bolts, so to speak?
Yeah, we do kind of have like a basic idea, so I can take a lot of stuff from the script. So for example, in The Wind in the Willows, it says, I know a place in the morning sun where we can rest till the day is done. And it's, morning light. maybe 9 a.m. Where's the sun in the sky? Let's put the colors in, make it fit with the costumes. Pretty much it.
So now it's my turn to kind of jump back and forth here a little bit. I want to jump back to kind of the actors, and you mentioned blocking, which is a very important first step. My question for you is, in your experience, both on stage and behind the stage, do you, especially with a musical, you have to first things first learn your lines, and then figure out where you're going to stand when you say said lines. And then you also have to figure out the lyrics and how to say them well, and then also figure out how to dance with said lyrics and saying them well. Do you kind of just add kind of one at a time, or do you kind of have them try it all at once and then just keep working until they get it all at once then? Or
so some people do this a little differently. I like to break up my rehearsal process day by day. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday would be blocking exclusively, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays would be music and choreography exclusively. And then on Fridays, so Monday, Wednesday, block act 1, block act 2, Tuesday, Thursday, sing act 1, sing act 2, and then Friday we put it all together. And so that's kind of the standard that I like to set. Some people do it a little differently, where they jump on the wagon right away. First day, we're doing choreography. And yeah, that works sometimes because there's a lot of choreography heavy shows. But when it comes to like blocking and setting the blocking for the very first time, I like to let the actors explore their space first. And if I'm like, oh no, why are you going over there? Just go over here. I like to do traffic control instead of being the stoplight. So if there's a traffic jam, I'm like, okay, just space out a little bit and bring you forward. I don't like to be like, you can't go there.
Yep.
Because what are they going to do when I'm not like directing them anymore and they're performing? They'll probably go there. They just need to figure out how to make it work if they do.
If you can slowly tell them to like stand here, maybe just instinctively they'll go there. It's kind of a subliminal thing more. And with that, it is time for the curtain call. Mary, I'd like to once again thank you for coming on the show here and talking about all the great work that you guys do over in the drama department and all the different jobs and different hats you guys have to wear on top of being college students and having to juggle that fun as well. So if you want to see all the results of that hard work and you want to support them, check out their upcoming shows here. As we mentioned, Clue the Musical will be on the main stage here at the Fine Arts Building at SMSU. Again, those dates, January 28th through the 31st, excuse me. That will be evening performances on the main stage, except for the Sunday, which will be a 2 p.m. matinee. You guys have another drama department show coming up here. We mentioned a little bit in the episode, Wind in the Willows. Mary, why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. The Wind in the Willows is a lovely show about unconditional love and friendship, and it's about furry little animals too. It's very fun. The music is unique. Every single song seems like it's in a different style. It's very nice. It's aged very well. It's very enjoyable. And the dates for that are the 25th through the 28th of February 2021, with the performances on the 25th, 26th, and 27th being at 7:30 p.m., and then the 28th being a 2 p.m. matinee.
That sounds good. I like those kind of shows because it kind of reminds me of those childhood shows you watch, like Arthur and everything like that. And I know some people are like, well, those are childish messages or whatever, but I don't care. Sometimes it's good to get those little reminders and just those nice slow moments. The
thing that I really like about The Wind in the Willows is it's poetic and it's a lot of adult humor. So one of the main conflicts is this group of friends. They have this one friend who just blows all his money on useless things like brand new cars that he crashes, carriages that he gets ran over in, and boats that he overturns and leaves in the river. And it's just about...
Sounds like someone I could relate to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a very, very funny, very enjoyable show, and it's quite old. I love it. It's so cute. If you've ever seen the Disney Ichabod and Mr. Toad, you know what to expect with that.
Well, those are two great shows to look forward to. And until then, keep checking out here on this channel for new episodes of Peek Behind the Curtain every month for any updates, as well as more great stories from behind the scenes in the process of making these shows. For myself and Mary Jean Porter, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.